I used to think citrus trees just weren't meant for people like me. I killed my first lemon tree in under 4 months. The leaves turned yellow, dropped one by one, and I convinced myself I just didn't have the touch for it. Turns out I was doing almost everything wrong, and the wildest part is that the thing that killed my tree wasn't neglect. It was actually love. I was watering that poor tree almost every single day because I thought that's what it wanted. If you've ever grown a citrus tree in a pot and watched it slowly decline, no matter how much attention you gave it, stick around, because by the end of this video, you'll know exactly why that happens and exactly how to fix it. Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, I talk about budget-friendly ways to grow food and plants at home. No fancy equipment, no complicated setups, just real advice that actually works. And if you've been here before, welcome back. I appreciate you more than you know. Today we're covering everything you need to grow perfect citrus in containers. Whether you're in a cold climate apartment with one sunny window, or you've got a full patio to work with. This works no matter where you live in the country. Before we get into it, if you find this helpful, tap that subscribe button. I've got so much more gardening content coming, and I don't want you to miss a single video. Why most container citrus trees fail. Let's start with the mistake that takes down more citrus trees than anything else. And it's not what most people expect. It's not the cold. It's not pests. It's overwatering. Here's the thing about citrus. In nature, these trees grow in sandy, fast-draining soil in warm climates. Their roots are built to handle short bursts of water, followed by dry periods, not constant moisture. When you plant a citrus tree in a pot and water it every day out of habit or out of worry, the soil stays wet for far too long. The roots start to suffocate because they can't get oxygen, and that's when root rot sets in. Here's the part that trips everyone up. Root rot looks almost identical to a nutrient problem. Yellow leaves, leaves dropping, slow growth. So people see those symptoms and think, my tree needs more fertilizer, or maybe it needs more water. And they do the opposite of what actually helps, and the tree gets worse. This one mix-up is probably responsible for more dead citrus trees than every other cause combined. So how do you actually know when to water? Forget the calendar, forget the schedule. Stick your finger about 2 inches down into the soil. If it's still moist, leave it alone. If it's dry at that depth, water it deeply until it runs out the drainage holes. That's it. In peak summer heat, an outdoor container citrus tree might need water every day or two. In winter, especially if it's indoors, that same tree might only need water every couple of weeks. The tree tells you what it needs. Your job is just to check. Picking the right variety. Now let's talk about which citrus tree is actually going to work for you, because this decision matters more than people realize. The first thing to understand is that almost every citrus tree you buy is actually 2 plants in one. There's the variety you can see above the soil, the lemon or the orange or the lime, and then there's the rootstock underneath, which is a different plant entirely that the variety has been grafted onto. The rootstock controls how big that tree is going to get. For container growing, you want to make sure you're choosing a dwarf or semi-dwarf rootstock, because a standard rootstock will try to grow into a full-size tree, and that's a losing battle in a pot. For beginners, the improved Meyer lemon is about as forgiving as citrus gets. It's a natural cross between a lemon and a sweet orange, so the flavor is a little sweeter and less sharp than a grocery store lemon, and it's incredibly productive. It'll often flower and fruit more than once a year, which means you get more chances to get it right. If you want a lime, the Bear's lime is the one growers reach for again and again in containers. If you're after an orange, a dwarf mandarin, or a Washington navel will treat you well. And if you want to have some fun with it, kumquats are fantastic for smaller spaces, since the whole fruit, peel and all, is edible, and calamandan oranges are a great choice if you're somewhere cold, since they tend to handle indoor conditions better than most. Honestly, you can't go too wrong here, as long as you stick with dwarf or semi-dwarf rootstock. The variety is really about what flavor you're excited to grow. Choosing the right container. This is where I made my next big mistake, and I see so many people make the exact same one. You bring home a small citrus tree and you think, well, this is going to be its forever home, so let me just put it straight into a huge pot. Don't do that. A small tree in a giant pot means there's a huge amount of soil around a relatively small root system. That soil holds moisture for way longer than the roots can actually use, and you end up right back at that same root rot problem we just talked about, except now it's coming from the container size instead of your watering habits. The better approach is to size up gradually. If your tree comes in something like a 3 or 4 gallon nursery pot, move it into something in the 7 to 10 gallon range, not a 30-gallon barrel. As the tree grows over the next few years, you can size up again. A good rule of thumb is only going up by a few inches in diameter each time you repot, not jumping to the biggest pot you can find. As for material, lightweight plastic or resin pots are honestly your best bet. They hold moisture more evenly, and they're a lot easier to move, which matters if you're bringing your tree indoors for winter. Terracotta looks beautiful, but it dries out faster, so if you go that route, just know you'll be watering a bit more often. Whatever you choose, drainage holes are non-negotiable. Never skip that. One more detail that trips people up. When you repot, make sure the graft point, that little scar near the base of the trunk, where the variety meets the rootstock, stays above the soil line. Bury that graft point, and you're inviting crown rot. The soil mix that actually works. Here's something almost nobody tells beginners. You cannot just grab a bag of regular potting soil or garden soil and expect your citrus tree to thrive. Citrus needs soil that drains fast, and most bagged mixes hold way more moisture than that. The good news is, you don't need anything complicated. Look for a citrus-specific potting mix at your local garden center. And if you want to take it a step further, blend in some extra bark. Pine or fir bark works great, to boost the drainage even more. This kind of mix allows water to move through quickly while still holding enough moisture for the roots to access what they need in between waterings. If you want to give your tree the best possible start, mix in a granular citrus fertilizer right at planting time. Citrus trees want a good amount of nitrogen early on to build out their branching structure, so look for a fertilizer blend made specifically for citrus and follow the guidance on the package. Sunlight requirements. Citrus trees are sun-hungry plants, so there's really no way around giving them plenty of light. Aim for at least 6 to 8 hours of direct sunlight each day, and more is even better if you can manage it. A south-facing patio, deck, or window is going to be your best friend here because it provides the strongest and most consistent light throughout the day. If you're growing indoors, especially through the colder months, try to give your tree at least 6 hours of bright light near a south-facing window. If your space doesn't get enough natural sunlight, a simple grow light can easily help fill the gap. Citrus trees that don't get enough light may still produce plenty of green leaves, but they'll struggle to flower and set fruit, which is usually the whole reason you're growing one in the first place. Good light also helps the tree maintain stronger growth and healthier, more productive branches. Feeding your citrus tree. Citrus trees in containers are entirely dependent on you for nutrition. Unlike a tree planted in the ground that can spread its roots out and find nutrients naturally, a container tree has access only to what is in its potting mix and whatever fertilizer you provide. That makes regular feeding especially important for healthy growth, flowering, and fruit production. Use a balanced, slow-release citrus fertilizer, and make sure it contains micronutrients like iron, magnesium, and zinc. Citrus trees have a particularly high demand for magnesium, so a deficiency can quickly affect the leaves and overall growth. Feed regularly from early spring through early fall, then gradually taper off as the tree slows down for winter. Keep an eye on the leaves because they can tell you a lot about what your tree needs. If newer leaves turn yellow while the veins remain green, that's a classic sign of iron deficiency, often called chlorosis. It is especially common when the potting mix becomes too alkaline. A chelated iron supplement can usually help correct the problem fairly quickly. If older, lower leaves begin yellowing, while the new growth still looks healthy, that more often points to a nitrogen shortage and may mean your tree needs a little more balanced fertilizer. The winter move. If you don't live somewhere warm year-round, this next part might be the single most important section of this whole video, because this is where most container citrus trees outside of places like Florida or Southern California actually meet their end. Once nighttime temperatures start regularly dropping into the low 40s, it's time to bring your tree indoors. Don't wait for a hard freeze warning. By then, it's often too late. When you do bring it in, try to acclimate it gradually rather than moving it straight from a bright patio into a dim room. Give it the sunniest spot you have, and if that's not going to cut it, a grow light will make a real difference through the winter months. Come spring, once the danger of frost has fully passed, reverse the process. Move it outside gradually, starting in a slightly shaded spot for a week or two before giving it full sun again. Citrus trees can get a bit of leaf sunburn if you shock them straight from indoor light into full outdoor sun, so that transition period really does matter. Why your tree flowers but never fruits? Now here's a question I get constantly, and it's one a lot of citrus videos skip entirely. Your tree is covered in fragrant white blossoms. Everything looks perfect, and then the flowers just fall off and nothing ever turns into fruit. A few things could be going on. First, if your tree is indoors during bloom time, there aren't any bees or wind to move pollen between flowers, so you may need to hand pollinate. All that takes is a small paintbrush, or even a cotton swab, gently brushing the center of each flower to transfer pollen around. Second, some flower drop is completely normal. A container citrus tree simply can't support fruit from every single blossom it produces, so don't panic if a portion of them fall. It's actually the tree self-managing its energy. Third, take a look at your feeding routine. Potassium plays a big role in fruit development specifically, so if your fertilizer is heavy on nitrogen but light on potassium, that could be part of why flowers aren't converting into fruit. And finally, consistency matters here more than almost anywhere else. Big swings in watering or sudden temperature changes can cause a tree to drop flowers and tiny developing fruit as a stress response. A quick word on pruning and pests. Citrus trees don't need much pruning, and that's actually a good thing. Too much pruning can reduce fruit production, so focus only on removing dead, damaged, or crossing branches that could create problems as the tree grows. Also keep an eye out for any shoots appearing below the graft point. These are rootstock growth, and they can steal energy from the productive part of the tree without giving you the fruit you want. Early spring, just before new growth begins, is usually the best time for light pruning. As for pests, you'll likely run into citrus leaf miners at some point. They leave those little silvery, winding trails through young leaves, which can make the tree look much worse than it actually is. For most healthy, established citrus trees, the damage is mainly cosmetic. As the leaves mature and become tougher, leaf miners generally have a harder time feeding on them. Keep an eye on new growth and the overall health of the tree, and most importantly, start with healthy plants from a reputable nursery so you don't accidentally introduce more serious pests or diseases into your garden. If this is answering questions you've had about your own citrus tree, do me a favor and hit that like button. It genuinely helps this video reach more people who are struggling with the exact same thing. And if you've got a citrus tree you're currently nursing back to health, drop a comment and let me know what variety you're growing. I read every single one. Growing citrus in a container isn't complicated once you understand what the tree actually wants. Less water than you think, the right size pot, fast-draining soil, plenty of light, and a little patience through the winter months. Get those pieces right, and you'll be pulling fresh lemons or limes or oranges off your own tree, no matter what climate you live in. If you want to go all in, try growing a lemon, a lime, and an orange together. Having that variety on your patio or windowsill is one of the most rewarding things you can do as a home gardener. Thanks so much for watching. Make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss what's coming next, and I'll see you in the next video.